Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm calling this little tutorial the energy of posture. This is our Friday morning little quick behind the scenes yoga work that we do before the Soma Flow class that happens at 8 a.m. on Friday. So, part of the beauty of spring, and we're getting into the cusp of where we're starting to move into summer season, but we have the lens of Ayurveda, which I've talked about in past videos. But there's also this beautiful um, goddess Persephone, and Persephone really spends one third of the year underground. And the lore is that she's with Hades, and then he will release her so that she can come up and be with her mother for the other two-thirds of the year. And so when we're thinking about posture, now, those of you who know me know I'm a structural integration body worker. And so I work with people with a lot of posture dysfunction. But posture isn't just about having good space in our body so that our organs can have motility, so that we can have breath, so that there's room for our appendages to move well. We can have adequate spinal rotation. But posture really, I feel posture gives us choice. Posture gives us choice. It gives us autonomy. It gives us potential. Um, because when we have access to our posture, we can make adjustments to it that will influence the energy that we're wanting to release or we're wanting to cultivate. And we're always bringing something in. We have a manifesting current, we have a releasing current. So we're always bringing something in, we're always releasing it out. Now, when we're stuck in our posture, like I know someone who has really significant back arthritis and he's really, really stuck and he can't move. And it's incredibly sad because his choices are much smaller than if you have a full range of posture. I'm going to describe two different poses to you. Well, they're the same pose, but just in two different ways. Let me get that sun off. Hi. Okay. So let's talk about warrior one. So, warrior one, we have a straightened back leg, our front knee is bent, and we're upright here. Now, there are different things that can happen depending on your unique structure. So, one is some people, if you're really narrow in the pelvis, you could have a heel to heel alignment. And there's an angle to this back foot here. I teach it where you have your feet on essentially two different tracks, and that this foot is out a little bit wider here. So I do that because I want to make sure that there's enough room in the pelvis for both hip points to face forward. Now, when this happens, you get choice because when your pelvis is in a little bit of a rotation, you become a bit stuck in what is your potential. So when you have that choice, check this out. So different energy, same pose. So here we're going to take this. We have our two different tracks for our feet. Okay, so we have that squared pelvic position. Now, if we take this pose and we lean forward a little bit, which is really difficult if you have one of your pelvic points drifted behind in that earlier rendition here. Okay, so we have our arms up here. Now we have a lot more core activation going on. Um, and this is very much a yes shape. This is leaning in. This is, I am going all in. I am taking charge. I am making it happen. So, as a yoga teacher, this would be maybe some of the energy of Persephone in early spring as she's like coming up and sprouting those tulips and those daffodils. And this might be some medicine that your students need, right? Especially if they're a little more sedentary, especially if it's hard for them to get going, especially if they're a little stuck in life, right? Leaning forward, taking action. Okay. And here's our third one. And I think you'll be able to see it. I'm going to turn my camera down just a little bit. So, same pose, different energy. Here we go. That front foot, that back leg. Again, we're on the two different tracks here. And now that has to come up a little more. Wait, way too anatomically off for me. Now we're going to give it more of a back arch. Okay. Now, what is this pose telling us? So, this pose is more of a pose of trusting, a pose of opening into the unknown. Now, this pose, partially because your reaction time to a somatic startle in your environment with this pose is going to take longer than this pose because this pose, you're already in that ready state. This pose, maybe people are living in a ready state and they're really like type A, like they're looking for the battle. They're always ready to go. And they need more of this. They need to lean back. They need to open their breath. They need to surrender a little bit to the shape. And that's where you can bring this pose in, right? So, same essential pose. You can also teach it here too, right? Nice balance. Try to get people to put their weight 50-50. That's pretty tricky for a lot of people. But nice balance pose. And we have our forward lean here. That's that ready position. And then we have the trust, the backward position. So all of these are variations of warrior one. Now, not one of these is more correct than another. So I spent a lot of time in my earlier years as a yogi finding that right alignment in the pose. And there are biomechanical considerations that you want to have within your yoga poses. But part of what was missing for me at that point in my life was nobody was talking about this. Nobody was talking, or that I can tell, even is still talking about what the underlying energetics are based on the way that you're teaching the same pose. So there is a somatic embodiment piece, but there's also the ability, right? The ability to craft change through your own potential because you have the space to do so. How do you want to feel? Choose your medicine. Your body can lead how you want to feel. So I hope this feels helpful and insightful today. We'll be definitely doing some Warrior One in our class today. Hope to see you in class. Let me know if you like these tutorials. Okay, take care. Bye.